Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live. So if you are joining us from Facebook or YouTube, you'll be able to comment a question or anything at all, and hopefully I'll be able to answer it as I go through the forecast. But if not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you. And it looks like our audio is working good this time, so everybody should be able to hear me. And if you can't or you're having a hard time, please let me know in the comments and I'll hopefully be able to troubleshoot it as I go through everything here. But let's get started with a look at our headlines. Well, that Arctic front has made it into the tri-state and it's currently continuing to expand southward as it does so, and there is still that chance for a few flakes along the leading edge of it, although I feel like at this point we're pretty much just going to stay dry here through the rest of the night with the exception of a few flurries, and then bitter cold. That is what we're on alert for pretty much for tomorrow, but that bitter cold starts moving in right now. We'll take a look at those current temperatures and those current feels likes in just a moment, but this short-lived Arctic blast, it will go away quickly. It's not going to be here forever. It's only really for tonight into Sunday and then into early Monday morning that we're going to be dealing with these extreme cold temperatures. And then we actually start to warm back up well above average by the middle and end of next week. Kind of a complete pattern flip there from what we've just experienced. And then we're talking about maybe even the chance for some just plain old rain by the time we get into the end of next week as well. So here is a look at our current satellite and radar. That cold front continuing to march southward across the tri-state, and you can see that very, very dense, cold Arctic air centered around this high pressure system is taking away that cloud cover as well. So we'll be gradually clearing overnight, and in addition to the clear skies, the cold air advection is just going to make it feel even colder out there. So here's a current look at the tri-state, a little bit of a closer view. You can see most of the snow that was out and about across the region today stayed to our north, and then we had just a few little bands come here and move in across portions of Pike, Du Bois, even into Spencer and Perry County. They caught a little bit of snow there, even a few flurries out towards Owensboro. They had some freezing drizzle across portions of extreme southern Illinois, but it looks like the air is now beginning to cool off to the point where it would just be a few flurries. But yes, we have flurries here possible for the next hour or so, but the dry, cold Arctic air locked up to our northwest, and that is going to be plunging in overnight tonight. So looking at our future radar here, we'll be drying out through the overnight hours, and those clouds will gradually clear from northwest to southeast overnight tonight, and that'll lead us into a very sunny Sunday. So it's going to look like it's warm, but it's not going to feel that way. But here's a current look at our temperatures. Most of us are now beginning to cool down into the teens and 20s. The warmest spot on the map is obviously the locations farther to our south. So that's Madisonville, sitting at around 24 degrees, but here in Evansville, we dropped to around 18, and Fairfield, the coldest spot on the map, sitting at around 16 degrees right now. And factoring in those wind chill values, which I'll show you in a second, it feels a lot colder than that. But our actual air temperatures will continue to drop down into the single digits overnight tonight. And here's what it currently feels like. So it already feels like the single digits across much of the tri-state with the exception of Madisonville. It feels like 4 in Huntingburg. It feels like 6 here in Evansville. It feels like 5 up towards Fairfield. So bitter cold. Please, please, please bundle up with as many blankets as you can tonight, especially as you're going to bed. But here's a look at our wind chill forecast here. It only gets worse as we go through the overnight hours. Many of us will see wind chill values dropping down somewhere between -5 and -15 degrees by early tomorrow morning. And that's what this cold weather advisory is in effect for. This actually goes into effect midnight tonight and continues through tomorrow afternoon at 12 p.m. So that alert day is in effect for that extreme cold, but we are still expecting sunshine. It's going to be breezy, especially overnight into very early tomorrow morning. Gusts up to 20 miles per hour are possible, and that's what's going to make those wind chill values drop even more. So here's what it looks like waking up early tomorrow morning, heading out to church. A lot of churches are still going on tomorrow. You want to make sure you're bundled up and you're covering any and all exposed skin if you're going to be outside for any period of time. But unfortunately, it looks like while we'll still warm up into the teens for our actual air temperatures, our wind chill values will likely stay in the single digits, at least above zero through the afternoon. So still extremely cold out there through the day on Sunday, and then again, a very, very cold start for Monday morning. Not as cold as what we're expecting tomorrow, which is why that advisory doesn't end, or is why the advisory comes to an end tomorrow afternoon rather than Monday morning. But then we will start to see that relief from those cold temperatures. Starting Monday afternoon, we'll actually warm back up around freezing or slightly above. But until then, let's go over some cold weather safety tips. We've gone over these a couple of times over the last couple of days. But for indoor areas, you definitely want to make sure you're checking your heating systems and carbon monoxide detectors. If you're going to be using space heaters, you want to make sure you're using them safely and away from anything that could catch fire. And you also want to run a trickle of water to avoid frozen pipes. And another trick you can do is open up those cabinets, especially cabinets with pipes that run through them, like under your sink or your vanity. That will allow at least the heat that's circulating through your house or apartment to actually get into the cabinets and keep those pipes warm as well. And if you're going to be outside, which I don't recommend, you definitely want to dress in layers. You want to have multiple layers, at least 3 on the top and the bottom, and you want to cover all exposed skin with a hat, gloves, a scarf, a face mask, and of course, limiting time outdoors is going to be key, especially for children and elderly folk. And you need to stay dry because wet clothes will drastically increase the rate of heat loss from your body. So bundle up and stay warm here. It's going to be very, very cold next 24 to 48 hours, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Here's a look at the temperature outlook here for the next 8 to 14 days. A huge portion of the United States seeing a big warm up here, and that includes us here in the tri-state. And this also includes a time frame for around Christmas. So I know a lot of folks have been asking, what are we going to see for Christmas? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to be snowy, warm, rainy? Well, I can tell you, at least for now, it's definitely looking like we're probably going to have a warmer than average Christmas based off of these temperature trends. But of course, we'll continue to keep you updated there as we get closer. But here's a look at that 7-day forecast. Bitterly cold tonight into tomorrow. Wind chill values between -5 to -15, waking up early tomorrow morning with wind chills in the single digits above zero through tomorrow afternoon. So we are on alert for that dangerous cold. It's still going to be a very cold start Monday, but we'll actually warm back up above freezing by Monday afternoon. And then we climb up through the 40s for Tuesday and then top out in the 50s for the middle and end of next week. Maybe even a few spots getting close to 60 degrees by Thursday isn't completely out of the question. But then it looks like we'll kind of moderate a little bit back down into the 40s and lower 50s by the end of the work week and into next weekend. But still, a drastic improvement from what we're experiencing this weekend. So bitter cold here for the next few days, but we've just got to suck it up because we will warm back up eventually. So that's all I've got here for the forecast. I'm going to hop off the live stream, but before I do, let me go ahead and check out some of your comments. Looks like Jeanette says good evening, and she also says, come on next week with the 50s. I'm waiting for it too. I feel like a lot of people are going to break out the shorts again. I'm going to see a lot of people in shorts. I guarantee it. Next week will feel like a heat wave after this weekend, says Chris. Chris, I know Chris is a big fan of the heat as well. I'm not a big cold and snow person. I'm definitely a sunshine and 70s guy myself, and Chris shares that sentiment with me. So we always look for the warmer days on the 7-day as opposed to the colder ones. But that's all I'm seeing here, so I'm going to hop off the live stream. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody, stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you again tomorrow.